I'm here with Phil Risher from Phlash Consulting, and we're going to talk about that. But do you want to start with the thing you just said? You just like leaked like an Easter egg about
Yeah,
how this podcast ties into my story and your story directly
dude.
somehow.
All right. This is really, really crazy. So like we have someone that reaches out to podcasts for me to guest on.
Right.
And I saw you come and I saw your thing come through and I'm like, this is really crazy because when I was 25, so 10 years ago,
Okay.
I had paid off my student loans, bought a condo with cash, and I was, doing research online and I saw your story,
Okay. That's
right, on
crazy.
Forbes. Yep, I saw you and you're a music teacher, paid off
Mm-hmm.
your student loans. So I went to your blog
Wow.
way back then. Okay.
Yeah.
So then I'm reading your blog and I'm like, okay, this dude has, doing some digital marketing on the side. He
Mm-hmm.
also has his blog, he's making some money, and like I have a cool story too.
Yeah.
So I literally signed up for your Bluehost affiliate.
That's awesome, dude.
And I signed up for Bluehost. I build a WordPress website. I, start like doing blogging kind of stuff on my own, learning backlinks, creating content. And I created content and did a bunch of cool stuff for about like 4 years. Then
Wow.
I was working at an enterprise rent-a-car,
Mm-hmm.
and I went to work at a home service business. And we can get more into this, but I worked at a home service business, and basically I realized that they need digital marketing and sales,
Right.
and
Right.
it all collided, like my worlds collided, and that's how I built my business now. But it literally started from your article.
Dude, that's cool. That's so wild, man. That feels like a million years ago. Because I guess 10 years ago, I would have been 30. Well, I just turned 37. So I would have been 27 back then. So I probably had been running the blog for like 2 years, maybe like maybe two, maybe three.
Yeah,
But that's crazy. Dude, we used to make so much money from Bluehost.
I know.
Like,
I know.
that's back when blogging was like hot though.
Yes.
But it's not anymore. Well, I don't know. I don't even know if blogging is like a big thing anymore, to be honest with you. Like, I just, once all the TikTok stuff came out and then everything just started shifting, like I just saw this like writing on the wall of like, okay, I don't think blogs are going to be like a big thing anymore. I feel like there's still a piece of digital marketing, the content
Yeah.
piece of it, but anyway, that's a wild story. That's cool.
It's wild. I was telling my wife in the car, I was like, I can't wait to meet this guy because I'm about to blow his socks off by like the impact that you make. Like you don't even
Wow.
know, creating
No,
content. And like
that's
there's
so wild.
people out there, right? Like I feel this too when I talk to people, but like you make content and then somehow 10 years from now, it's like, you are part of changing or making whatever this is now. So it's like
Yeah.
so cool.
Wow, man. That's awesome. Well, thank you for telling me that. That's cool. That feels good. I guess I'll stay in business. Um,
Exactly.
and it's so weird. Like so we were talking before we started recording. You got on Brian Guerin's podcast, which is Millionaire University, and I've been on that podcast as well. And Brian was a student of mine
Oh my
in
God.
the Facebook side hustle course that we did with
Wow.
Laptop Empires back in 2018. He was like one of the first students, and the dude struggled. Brian, if you're watching this, I'm sorry,
Yeah.
but the dude struggled for a long time. He couldn't get a client for like 12 months. And
Yeah.
then he finally got his first client, and then he grew it to, it's like a very, very
Yeah.
nice sized agency now.
Yeah.
And he's crushing it, and he's doing the podcast thing. And he's also, interestingly enough, we just acquired an accounting firm called The Bottom Line
Oh, cool.
in July 1st. And he's a client of that business. So it's just such a weird, like, this stuff is weird, man.
Dude,
It's crazy how this happens.
even crazier, I was on Upflip podcast, and then Brian reached out to me from the Upflip podcast.
Wow.
So it's like this is the whole
That's wild,
connection.
dude.
Yeah.
That's wild. Well, cool. All right. Tell me about Phlash Consulting, and Phlash with a PH, because it's really interesting. Your story is really interesting. And I remember when I was reading through, I get like show notes.
Yeah.
And I was reading through and I was like, this dude paid off a bunch of debt, and then also quit his job and also did digital marketing, and also like went and like did all the same kind of it's like you and I have kind of a bizarro, kind of similar story. But tell me about Phlash Consulting, because it's really cool. And I want to get into a lot about that.
Yeah, for sure. So obviously I paid off my student loans. I bought a condo with cash. I was working at a corporate job at Enterprise selling fleet management services to home service businesses. So I was calling on $20 million businesses, meeting with CEOs, and I was debt free. And I had this blog on the side, but I was never good at making money on it. It was just like more of a hobby than
Mm-hmm.
anything else, which, that's fine.
Yeah.
But then I decided I was going to quit my job, and I bought a tiny school bus and I made a little tiny home and I
That's
traveled
crazy.
around the country, and I just
Okay.
made content and I did news interviews, and I was just like, maybe I'll be a speaker, maybe I'll do something else. I don't really know, but I'm going to do something fun. And when I came back from that trip, one of my clients from selling fleet management services was a $3 million home service business. And he was like, hey, maybe you could work with me and be my director of business development to help me grow. And when I went to work there, my worlds collided. I went through the management trainee program at Enterprise to run a local service business, and I got paid off the bottom line. And I had all this digital marketing experience of like how to actually convert website visitors into leads, and then how to
Right.
nurture leads through email marketing and all these things that make sense for home service businesses. So when I went to work there, it all collided. And in the first year, he went from 3 million to 4 million. And this was a 20-year-old business. And then it went from 4 million to 5 million, and he sold to private equity.
Wow.
And about 10 months in, we get to this friction point because I'm like ready to go for the gusto. And he's like making more money than he ever thought he would ever make in his life because he was just cleaning air ducts,
Right. Right.
And so he's like, bro, you need to go out and go and start your own thing. So he named my company Phlash Consulting. It's
Oh,
my
wow.
name, Phil, and my wife's name is Ashley, and I call her Ash. So he's like,
Yeah.
Flash. And he's like, here's 2 referrals, 2 other clients. I'll be your first client. You go help these people and get started. And when I first started, I was just telling my time for money hourly.
Yeah.
And that's kind of like how it started 6 years ago.
Wow. That's
Yeah.
crazy. Like when I first got started, there was a period of time where I was going to maybe buy a swimming pool company because this was back when I was a teacher, and I just was like, I could not be a teacher anymore. And I had a good friend of mine, that actually was kind of like his name's Jim. He's the guy that like basically taught me everything about money and like how to run a
Yeah.
business. And that created Millennial Money Man, because then I started kind of like resharing his stories in a way. But I worked for him for like, I don't know, maybe a summer or two while I was still teaching. And I saw there was so much opportunity in the home services space. Like it's so crazy how many of those people that own businesses do really well. Like they have these kind of like stealthy sort of like $1 to $2 million a year businesses. They work their butts off. But they make like good money, but just most of them have absolutely no idea how to do
Yeah.
anything marketing related. And Jim was like that. Like he didn't know, it was all referrals, all word of mouth. And I always talk to him like, dude, if you could just like get on Google, clean up your business profile, like maybe start creating some content. But he was like 58 years old. He wanted out.
Yeah.
But there's such a huge opportunity there. So I think what you're doing is incredibly smart,
Yeah.
because there's so many of those businesses.
The guy, Jim, like what you're saying, is the exact guy that I met. So he
Yeah.
had 36 Google reviews. He
Uh-huh.
had nothing, right? He was $3 million, all because he built referral partnerships with HVAC contractors that sent him leads.
Yeah.
And then when I went in there, I'm like, okay, well, let's turn on all this digital stuff and actually build like a sales pipeline and do email marketing and actually pull return on ad spend from everything. And then it's just like, let's go.
Wow. So do you find with those like the HVAC guys, and I think you had like
Plumbing,
yard
electric,
lawn, like
yeah,
landscaping and stuff like that.
gutter cleaning, lawn care, electricians, that kind of stuff.
How do they adapt to the digital marketing stuff and like contacting, when a lead comes in, how good are they at actually talking to the leads? And do you have to do a lot of education around that?
Yeah, there's kind of phases. So like my company, we work with mostly 7-figure businesses. So they've
Mhm.
usually like those guys are not the technician. They're more, the eMyth 2.0. Like they're more like business
Right.
owners. And like usually there's this shift at the $1 million mark. The hustler has to die and the leader has to be born.
Yeah.
And it's pretty much like in any business, like even mine too. It's like you got to like make that shift. So the guys that are just getting started, that are literally technicians that are doing the work, yes, you have to, those people, it's
You
like
gotta,
you have to change the whole way you think about like your identity and like what you do in this business.
right.
The biggest issue that we see is that a lot of times people rely just on their web forms coming in, but they have
Mhm.
no automation after the web form,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
like in a blog, it's like you download something, but then you need something to like keep the conversation going.
Mhm.
And what happens in home service is like someone fills out a form on Saturday night and then you call them Monday morning and then nothing happens.
Right.
And so some of the things that we educate them and we build out is like, okay, when they fill out a form, text them and ask for a picture of the project, and then
Right.
email them and ask them for that, and then have some type of a lead management plan in place to manage the lead so that you can
Right.
schedule a job.
What are you using for those guys? Like what platform are you using, like GHL or something like that?
Yeah, so there's a bunch of tools out there. When I first started, we were using Podium, which is pretty
Hmm.
popular tool in the home service space. Then there's like Chirp and Hatch. These are some other ones in the home service space for automation. We use Go High Level and then we white label it,
Yeah.
but we build an integration into their CRM. So
Hmm.
because a lot of times with home service, the Jobber, House Call Pro, Service Titan are the CRMs that they would use externally. They're really good for like dispatch softwares or jobs, but they're not
Yeah.
good for lead management. And that's why they need like a HubSpot or something else to manage their leads and then funnel them into actual customers.
Okay, that makes sense. We actually, dude, we just switched to GHL.
Oh,
We had
nice.
been using kind of like I don't know, dude. We were spending so much money every year on different softwares.
Yeah.
Um, and then when we acquired this accounting firm, the woman that was running it, Jess, came over and she was like, I really think she's like, I've been trying to get TBL to use GHL for years and like nobody would do it. She was
Mhm.
like, I really want to use it here.
So
And so
good.
I was just like, sure, let's try it. And I'm going to give them a shout out. It's freaking good. Like,
So good.
I mean, it's one of the things. There's a lot. I was actually talking to my friends about this yesterday in our like group chat. But it's like there's a little bit of a learning curve to it because there's so much that it can do. But I mean, we've been able to use it now for our CRM, for our email, for our SMS. Um, I don't know. We pretty much I can see a day where we're running almost the entire business on GHL, and it's really kind of crazy. And it's cut. I think that we're going to save like 20 grand or something next year, or
Wow.
maybe more on
Yeah.
just the stuff we were paying for.
Yeah.
So I think that's cool. But like what so when I don't want to get well, I do want to get in the weeds. So
Yeah.
with this stuff when the leads are coming in, like what's better for the home service businesses? Is it SMS with email follow up? Like what do those automations look like?
Yeah. So there's three that every business needs. They need to have a call, a text, and an email. So like in GHL, you can actually set up this thing. Like when a form comes in, you can have it instantly call your CSR. So that
Hmm.
way it can connect the phone connect.
Yeah.
But basically you want those three things is an email, text, and then phone call. The main reason is because someone might be a texting person or an email person or a phone person, and you got to open up all the lines of communication.
Yeah.
And then as far as the lead nurture goes, there's two different things for home services. The first one is if someone is like, I have no AC in my home, right? You don't really need to follow up with them for 21 days. It's like,
Right. Yeah.
they need to hit them up in like 3 days, like all the time, because they got
Right.
to get this fixed. But if it's like, I need to get my gutters cleaned or something that's like, you can nurture this for like 14 or 21 days, then you put them like that. What we do is this is important because a lot of people, when they follow up, they're just annoying. Like,
Hmm.
hey, Bobby, still there, buddy? You still want to get this done? And it's like,
Yeah.
leave me alone. You want to say, like, hey, Bobby, still having problems with your gutters? Like,
Hmm.
like kind of probe that problem and then educate them in that process. So, like, hey, here's a customer testimonial of someone that actually fixed this thing. Here's a little about our company, more educational stuff. But those are the two different sides of it. And that's the natural lead management system. There's another one, which is an estimate management system, which a
Hmm.
lot of businesses miss too, because they're just sending out estimates and they don't nurture any estimates as well.
Right. Oh, dude, that's what I'm saying. There's so much opportunity in this.
Yeah.
Um, and I've been talking to the TBL team. Like I, we don't have a ton. We're primarily ecom and just like, you know, authors and coaches, things like that. But I really want to build out a branch of the business that just helps these home service providers because like, I mean, I've seen what their accounting looks like, you know, like I've
Yeah.
seen how they do it. And I'm like, God, we could do so much better than this. But I'm curious how your whole premise is like you get these people in and then you scale them. And I think one of the things that I saw was that you try to help them build a sellable business, which I think
Yeah.
is amazing. Um, how do you scale these people up? Like, what's the process for scaling them?
Yeah, great question. So we've gone through the private equity process several times. The one example that I went through, I literally was on the call with the private equity search fund, and I still talk to this guy to this day. They're our client, but like we work with private equity companies that buy and then plug us in, and then get more companies, and then on the other side too. And what it came down to was three parts: visibility,
Mm,
conversions, retargeting. Every
okay.
single call that I had with these people, they wanted to know, what are you doing for these three things? So here's the basic thing. Visibility, they want to know that you're doing SEO, so on-site SEO and off-site, like Google Business Profile optimization,
Yeah.
both those. And then ads in particular, this is what they want. They want all the different ads like Google local service ads, Google search ads, Meta, Yelp, whatever. But the secret sauce is return on ad spend,
Mm,
because most of the times in home service, and I experience this as well, they're just running ads and then they have a CRM, but it's not talking together.
right.
So what we do as a company is we connect the dots. So then we
Mhm.
know that Bobby spent $2,000 on Google search ads and he made $10,000. So let's do more of that.
Right.
Most
Right.
people just have this gut feeling and they don't really know if it's actually working.
Yes.
um,
I've done that
so
before in the past.
yeah. So from the visibility perspective, private equity companies or scalable companies, first, they want to have levers to pull. So they have to have
Mm,
the data, but then they want to know that when they're buying a company, it's not just going to fall out from the bottom, that there's actually like systems in place to bring in more leads. And
right.
so there's really only four ways to get leads in your business. You can create content, so like SEO stuff or social
Hmm.
media stuff. You can run ads, so get that subbed out in. You can prospect, and then you can get referrals like B2B partnerships and stuff, which we also build out campaigns like that. So that's the first part. The conversion funnel is like the gold mine
Right.
because it's like they don't have a lead management plan. Most companies don't have a lead problem, they have a lead management problem.
Hmm.
And the worst part is that they're spending probably like $50 to $200 per lead to get a
Yeah.
lead in. And they get one shot at it. They call in and say, "Hey Bobby, how much does it cost to get my gutters clean?" And you say, "Oh, it's usually about $400." "Okay, I'll give you a call back and let you know."
Never hear him. Yeah.
Yeah. So this is the like any private equity company that comes in is going to fix that immediately.
Right.
Then the next one is estimate problem, where they have all these estimates that they're sending out, but no one's ever following up on them.
Hmm.
And then the last part, the retargeting, this is another honey hole that most people don't do, which is all the prospects and customers that come into your database, you need to send them an email every single month and then text them 2 times per year with some type of an offer and bring them back into your funnel. This
Yeah.
crushes it, and most people don't do this.
Yeah. Do most of these business owners, do they get their minds blown when you start talking about this stuff?
They're like, oh my gosh, like they know that they should be doing this, right? Like they know that they
Right.
have all these customers and prospects sitting there, but they're like, who's going to send out an email? What do I send? How do I do it? What do I say? Or it's like texting, like why would I text these people? That's annoying. It's like,
Right.
no, there's a strategic way to do it. So yes, also and you know this, like from a digital marketing perspective, there's a lot of like these cookie cutter companies out there that just like run GHL only or run
Yeah.
Facebook ads only, but there's no like unique thing to it,
Hmm.
that they've already been burned so much. So it's like, okay, dude, like this is just the same thing that I've heard before. So
Right.
what's the difference, kind of?
Yeah. So I'm guessing, well, actually, I'm curious what your offer is. Like when you get these people on the phone, or if you, I don't know if you do
Yeah,
most of your sales in person or on the phone, but
yeah.
like when you get them on the phone, what's the offer? And I'm curious what the biggest objections is. It just price or what you just said before? I've been burned before.
So yeah, I just hired a sales guy because I'm kind of like buying back my time and scaling my
Sure.
business. But
Yeah.
like today, I had 3 sales calls with like multi-million-dollar home service businesses, and
Hmm.
basically the sales call goes like this: we do marketing audits, so we get on the call, we pull up the Google search engine results page, and we do a search in their area, and we say there's 4 parts: Google LSA, Google search ads, map pack, organic SEO on your website. You're not in these places. Is there anything we can do to help you get into these places?
Hmm.
Then we ask them about their ads in particular. Are you tracking your return on ad spend or not? 9 times out of 10, they have no idea. We do that as a company, and we can do that all day, every day. Then we talk about their lead nurture sequence. What happens when a lead comes in, you call them, and they don't answer? Crickets. I'm
Right.
confused.
Yeah.
What happens when you send an estimate out? Oh, my sales guy calls and follows up with them. What happens when he gets busy? Oh, he doesn't get that busy. Well, that's the problem. He needs to be more busy.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then, okay, you have 6,000 people in your database. When's the last time you emailed them any type of offer and asked and invited them to come back in as a customer and cross-sold any services? Oh, we don't do that. That's how the sales process goes. And then most companies, for us, home service is spending that are in the $1 to $10 million range. They're spending 3 to 10% of their revenue on marketing.
Right.
So if they're at $1 million in revenue, they're spending 30 to 100,000 in marketing. We only sell one thing. It's a marketing team. So
Right.
we position our package that does all the stuff inside of that so that it all makes sense from a percentage perspective. And so
Oh, that's smart.
yeah, like we position it so like it just makes sense to them to work
Right.
with us. We rarely get pushback on pricing because we have a good authority, like good, and
Hmm.
we have a good understanding. We have a good playbook. We fit this niche. Really, the biggest issues that we have is one, they don't have the infrastructure. So they don't have a customer service representative to answer the phones. The guy is the hero, and he's the one that's answering and going and doing the selling. And he wants the outcome without the infrastructure.
Yeah. Yeah.
So if we tell him like, dude, you got to build out the infrastructure, or you're not gonna get to $5 million with the way that you have it. So you got to build
Yeah.
out the infrastructure. The other thing is if they don't have a CRM, like even if they were to use our GHL, they need to have something internal to keep track of all their stuff and like scale a business,
Right. Right.
like Service Titan, House Call Pro, Jobber. And then if they are the only salesperson, these are like our 3 criteria: CSR, CRM. Are you the only salesperson? If you're the only salesperson, not the end of the world. But if you go on vacation, what happens to the leads?
Right. Yeah. Yeah. That makes sense. No, so I could imagine your close rate's probably pretty good. I think, God, dude, I'm just like, I'm thinking of all these business owners that I know that like, I had a guy that came and did my, he redid my fence after a hurricane blew through, and he was like, how do you do marketing? Cause I kind of told him what I did, and he was like, how do
Yeah.
you do marketing? And I gave him like all this, I sent him this text that was like a book on like, you need to start doing this. You need to do this. Like, you don't have a Google profile. You don't have any of this stuff. Never heard from him again. Like, and I wasn't providing a service, I wasn't trying to sell him. I was just trying to help him out.
Exactly.
But it was just like, dude, if that he did good work, and if that guy had just had any of that stuff, like anything in place, he would have grown a lot. So I
Yeah.
think, I don't know, those people need help. So I'm glad that you're helping them.
This is
Okay.
why we set the threshold at like $1 million,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
one, they can afford to work with us, but two, they've already scaled past just being a chuck in a truck.
Yeah.
Like they've already got to the point of like building a real business that they need to have a team like ours come in. But when they're below that, they're just like too small. They haven't fought the bosses yet, and they
Right.
haven't got
Yeah.
to that level.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude. So, okay, you're helping all these businesses scale, you're helping them exit, but you're also building your own business at the same time. Earlier you said, like, I'm
Yeah.
trying to
Yeah.
buy my time back. I'm trying to,
Yeah.
what has that process been like for you, going from starting and probably just like you and your wife doing all of the work, and then now growing a team and all of that? Like, what has that been like?
Yeah. So my wife is a kindergarten teacher, and she doesn't have anything to do with the business at all, aside from her name's half
Her
in it.
name's in it. Yeah.
I actually started the business on our honeymoon. Like over the honeymoon, I'm like, I'm coming back and I'm starting this thing. So like, good
That's
luck.
cool. Yeah.
But basically, I started out just selling my time for money, right? I wanted to make $100,000, so I said I'm going to charge $50 an hour and get 40 hours, and I did
Hmm.
that with the 3 clients that I first got. But then I got referred my next person, and I'm like, okay, I can't do this. So that's when I productized our service.
Yeah.
So I started making like a package, and about 2 years in, we were doing like maybe 300,000.
Hmm.
And so then I was like, okay, I'm going to hire another consultant and be able to funnel them stuff. And I had a VA that was helping me with stuff.
Yeah.
It really got to the point. So I'm a debt free guy too. So I'll be
Cool.
a little bit more transparent on this podcast. My wife and I were fortunate enough that we bought a single family home, and then about 3 years ago we were able to pay off the mortgage for that. So it
Oh,
was like,
congrats, dude.
yeah, super blessed. Then it was like, okay, now let's get after it.
Yeah.
So really at that point is really when I started to scale and hire more team members, buy back my time. There's a book by Dan Martell called Buy Back Your Time.
Hmm. Yep.
And I read that about a year and a half ago, and I've read it 5 times ever since. I highly recommend it. And basically, like, I hired an executive assistant right away to help me with my emails, my
Yeah.
calendar. I hired a director of digital marketing because, like, I know digital marketing, but I never worked at an agency.
Right.
So I hired someone that worked at an agency to come in and run our stuff. Then I hired an external marketing company to help me with B2B marketing because we do B2C marketing.
Right.
So I
Right.
can't use my internal team for our marketing stuff because it's completely different.
Yeah. Yeah.
Then I just hired a salesperson, like I mentioned to you before. So like slowly I've been just like kind of buying back my time with what I can do.
Yeah. Are they full-time employees, part-time employees, contractors? What are you hiring?
Yeah. This is like really, really crazy, but we actually about 2 months ago, we won Inc. 5,000 best workplaces.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So they
That's
picked
cool.
like 500 some, I mean, I put our name in, but they picked us out
Sure.
of all these
Yeah.
people. But yeah, we have 15 team members.
Hmm.
6 or 7 of them are in the States, more like our front facing people. And then the other
Yeah.
half is going to be overseas, more of the
Okay.
back end stuff.
Like Philippines?
Yeah. Philippines. Yeah, mostly in the Philippines, I would say.
Yeah. Well, that's cool. Yeah, dude, I went through I think earlier on, I went through a period of time where I was hiring, like, I had some assistants in the Philippines. I could never really make it work with contractors. Like, when I grew laptop empires with my business partner, Mike Yonda, and we got to the point where we had like a 25 person team and it was all contract. And I I like the people, but I hated it. Like, it
Yeah.
sucks so bad because everybody's putting all these boundaries on you, and
Yeah.
it was just really frustrating. And so we just went. I think 3 years ago we started hiring full time employees,
Yeah.
and that's a whole different. Have you hired a full-time person yet?
Yeah, all of our people are
They're
full
all,
time, and they're all like
yeah.
even overseas, they're all our employees.
Right.
Yeah,
So I found that I think it's a lot better
of
because
course.
we have everybody's W-2 basically.
Same.
Um, and I found that took me several years to figure out, like,
Yeah.
just hiring the right fit people, like hiring people that are actually, because you mentioned something in the info sheet that I read about, like, kind of like value aligned people, I think. And I have that now and it's great. But I went through a period of time where I did not have that. So did you have any struggles starting to hire these people and like not finding the right fits?
Yeah, what happened was when I first started, so I never worked at an agency, right? I knew enough to be like talk the talk, but like I didn't know
Right.
all the nerd stuff. So
Yeah.
like when I first started, I hired another digital marketing company to be my back end to like build websites,
Hmm.
host the websites, do some of the SEO stuff, and I was more the front like consultative piece, and then work with them to do all the stuff.
Yeah.
And what happened was is like same thing, guardrails behind it and like can't do this, can't do that. And then I got a VA to kind of help me with that. And then I hired full-time people. It's kind of like the trajectory that I went on.
Right.
What I would say a big game changer for us, and I just realized this because I worked at a corporate place that I was paid commission, was that our whole team is performance pay.
Yeah.
So what that means is like our consultants. So when we sell a client, they get put with a consultant and then the back end team. So I'm basically like out of the equation at that point. And the consultants get a percentage of the monthly spend.
Okay.
And so what we do is we give them a base, but then every client that they get, they kind of like break through the base.
Okay. That's cool.
Yeah. So then they're incentivized to keep their clients happy because if they leave, they lose money. And then our director of digital marketing and some of our other backend people, they all are on performance pay as well. So they make more money when we get clients and lose money when we lose clients.
Right. Right.
So what has happened for us is that one, yes, we can hire for core values and those things, and that we could talk about some of those strategies. But really, the benefit is that like if something comes up, it's not just like Phil, what should we do? It's like you're incentivized to keep these people happy and figure this out.
Right. Right. It's kind of like they own, I mean, they don't,
Yeah,
I don't know if they have equity, but like they own the results of the business.
yeah, exactly,
And
and
that's
their
what
clients.
we've started doing that as well. And we're trying to figure out how we can do more of that. Cause I think there's something, it's like, if you pay somebody a full-time salary and you just keep them capped forever, then nobody's happy. Right. So it's
So
like, you have to give them the opportunities, to grow with the company, but without having all the fixed cost of like just increasing salaries. Cause I've run into that too. Like I've just
exactly.
increased salaries and then all of a sudden I'm looking at the P&L. I'm like, oh my God, like we are spending so much money on people. So that's cool. Where did you learn all this stuff? I'm curious. Like just because like we're an EOS company, so we implemented EOS,
Yeah.
and that's been where a lot of our growth has been happening. But like, where did you? Because you just said a lot of smart things. Where did you learn all that?
So coming out of college, I worked at Enterprise Rent a Car,
Mm-hmm.
and they have an amazing management trainee program. I was an intern there, and then I went through their management trainee program. So basically, I was running a local service business that was $2 million, and I got paid
Mm-hmm.
off the bottom line.
Okay.
And I was one of the top branch managers in I'm from the DC metro area, in the DC metro area, and basically like I like love this stuff. Like I read Rich Dad Poor. I
Oh
read,
yeah.
probably like you, right? So
Yeah.
like I'm just naturally like I love reading, and then I can implement. And for me, it's just like that's just what I do: podcasts, reading, and then my business experience was at Enterprise that helped me actually ran local service businesses, and I was good at
Mm-hmm.
it. The other thing is I'm in Entree Leadership with Dave
Yeah.
Ramsey,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm in Strategic Coach with Dan Sullivan.
Yeah.
So I'm in some of these coaching programs to help with it. The other really big blessing for me was that I went to work at this $3 million home service business, and his best friend, who I talk to every single day, runs a $7 million home service business.
Okay. That's cool.
And
Yeah.
so it's like they run on EOS, all the stuff, and I'm just like immersed in it, and I can ask them questions and see how they run, almost an 8-figure business and what do they do. So it's nice to have those people around you that I
Yeah.
never had, before that.
Yeah. That's like the bulk of my personal growth has been through mentors and people like that have helped me. So
Yeah,
that's awesome.
like the gym guy you're saying is like,
Oh yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. He taught me like everything. Like he was pulling out P&Ls. Like I had no idea what a P&L
yeah,
even was, but he was like pulling out his P&L from like a couple years before. And he was like, check this out. Here's top line. Here's bottom line. And that stuff was huge. Like had I not met him, I wouldn't have done, I still messed up a ton after that,
of
which I feel
course.
like almost every entrepreneur just like you see all these stories. Like I hate the guru stuff online that you see on like TikTok and stuff where it's like, it's just, they talk about how easy a business is. And it's like, it's so freaking hard. Like it is
Yeah.
so hard. but it's awesome, you know? And so we do a lot of coaching programs. We do a lot of like, we help people start businesses.
Yeah.
So we try not to do any of that because it's like, I want people that come in and know that it's going to be very difficult, but also very fulfilling. Um, but I want to ask you real quick about, you said the hardest decision that you ever had to make probably kind of early in your business was letting clients go. And this is something, you know, talking about our students and people in our coaching program, they always seem to gravitate towards like the worst possible clients. Like, and we tell them not to, we're like, don't do that. It's not a good fit, but they just want to get their foot in the door somewhere, which I did too when I was starting out.
Yeah, of course.
But you had to let go of those clients. Like, why did you do that? And what was the benefit?
Yeah. So 2 days ago, I did a big webinar with this company called Jobber, and
Okay.
Jobber is a big CRM for home service businesses. I would say 80% of their clients are below 7 figures in revenue.
Okay.
And when I did that webinar, we got like over 100 leads that came through.
Wow.
I know that those people are 9 times out of 10 not the right fit for us.
Right.
But like today, I had 2 calls with 2 people from this, and they're like, Phil, you're our guy. How much is it? We're going to work with you. Right? Like they would pay the money. They would pay the money. But I know for a fact that they don't have a CSR, they don't have a CRM, they don't have the infrastructure, haven't solved these problems yet. And for me, there's 2 things. One, because I am debt free, I believe I can come from a place of abundance. Like I'm not just out there to try to get your money. Like I'm good.
Right.
Hopefully I can help you. And that's really what I'm looking for, is the right fit people. So like for me, that's where I come from when I'm trying to sell.
Yeah.
The other thing is that when we're working with clients, right, they might have a CSR, they might have a CRM, they might be over 7 figures, but they're just crazy. Like they're just not good people to work with, which I'm sure you've experienced that too, right? It's like, bro,
100%.
yeah, like you're cuckoo.
Yeah.
It's like this doesn't make sense, and we need to get rid of them to make room for other right fit clients.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because they're going to suck all of your time, all of your energy, keep you up at night, not pay their invoices on time, blah, 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 blah. And it's like, it's not worth it when you could just get rid of them.
Yeah. Dude, it's so true. I've seen it so many times, and it's so hard to explain to people that like when clients that are like very price conscious, when they don't want to pay and like it's always too much, they are the most demanding people. Like they expect, they're like, I gave you $1,000 a month and now I want you to fix my entire life and save my world and keep me from going out of business. Like it's hard, you know, with those people. But what we found in like our accounting firm, for example, like our high end clients, they're the easiest people to work with. They don't want to talk to us very much. Like they just like the services and that's it. So I'm sure you've had the same experience.
Yeah, there's a really good book on this called Marketing to the Affluent from Dan Kennedy. And in the book, he says that as you charge more money, people work with you because of who you are, not what you do. Yeah. And you have to give them the story of who you are. But like we never get price objections, and we charge, you know, 5,000 plus per month.
Right.
And basically what you're saying is exactly what other people are saying, is that if they're affluent and they see the money as like, oh, good, this is more expensive, so it must be that much better. And I can let them do their own thing. Where people, when they're just starting out, is like, oh, I'm going to charge $999 to undercut the $1,000. And you don't want those people, you know?
No, you don't. Well, this has been a great interview. I appreciate your time. I think what you're doing is fantastic. Your growth sounds awesome. It's crazy that you came from a Millennial Money Man blog affiliate link. Like that's a wild story. So I'm going to tell my wife about that after.
Yeah, dude.
But where can people find you? Like, how do they get in touch with you? All of that.
Yeah, for sure. So obviously if you're a home service business doing over $1 million and you like the stuff, you can go to phlashconsulting.com, PHLASH consulting.com. We have a YouTube channel, Phlash Consulting, with a lot of great stuff on there as well. Or if you're just like, hey, you seem like a cool dude, I'm on LinkedIn at Phil Risher and Instagram, Phil Risher. Happy to connect there.
Sweet, man. All right. Well, thank you very much. Appreciate it, man. And I wish the best moving forward. I think that it sounds like you're going to be growing a ton. So hopefully you get it fully out of the sales and get all your freedom back.
Thanks, brother.